Hey everyone, Ben here, back with more self-loathing about my iRacing purchase history, but also what I hope is a really helpful bit of advice for any of you on the service. Now then, a little while ago I made a video setting out how much I've spent so far in about a year of iRacing. And despite it being a higher number than I'd ideally say out loud, I was overall feeling okay about my choices. Full disclaimer, I really like iRacing despite its many obvious drawbacks. After all, sim racing is my primary hobby, and as a fellow sim racer often tells me, it's cheaper than a golf club membership. But recently I've taken a bit of a break from iRacing and I've been thinking about some of those purchases. Why did I choose the content that I did, and have I ultimately wasted chunks of money that I didn't need to? More than anything, I realised I'm like most iRacers. I want ready access to a competitive online race at the time I'm able to enjoy it, and I'm happy to pay a premium for that service. And this led me to a bit of a revelation, something so obvious I can't believe I hadn't thought about it before, and which made me think that if I had my time again, I would probably do things differently. Now what I'm about to say next probably won't save you much money. After all, if you want to race regularly on iRacing outside of a few limited series, you're going to need to pay. But I think it will mean you can spend that money better. And it's this. Stop buying tracks primarily to compete in iRacing seasons, to rank in championship tables, and to earn very small cash rewards for completing 8 out of 12 races. All of these things, in and of themselves, are meaningless. Oh, and stop feeling like you have to purchase every new bit of content that comes out too. Instead, buy cars and tracks for series with strong participation and that you want to race. It doesn't mean you should only buy cars and tracks that you already know, but at least buy stuff that you want to try out or learn, not that you think you should buy to complete an arbitrary checklist. You'll still likely end up spending similar amounts to get a decent set of options to race each week, but if you follow the first approach, which I did for much of the last year, the chances are you're going to be left with a bunch of content you didn't enjoy using and you won't use again once that season is over, and this expense can quickly mount up. For example, if you think $15 for Winton Motor Raceway is expensive, well, it definitely is if you suspect it'll be unsuitable for most of the cars that you own, you only ever complete a handful of races there, and you hate driving in each one. Or, like me, do you really dislike racing at Hockenheim, and yet see it's a popular choice across schedules? Well, don't buy it, go and get something you will enjoy driving instead. The $4 rewards for completing 8 rounds of a championship that it can cost $100 to even drive in is not sufficient incentive to load up on content you never want to drive again. And role-playing the life of a racing driver who doesn't get to pick the tracks that he races at is one thing, but I prefer to role-play being a sim racer who is able to live out the fantasy of virtual motorsport in ways that I actually enjoy. I mean, I'm not routinely changing the oil in my sim rig either. But what if you don't know whether you like a car or track before you purchase? Well, you should take advantage of the test drive feature during iRacing patch downtimes, or failing that, go get a Assetto Corsa for less than £10 and you can probably find a decent mod for the content you're looking to buy. It won't be a perfect proxy for iRacing as they run on completely different physics engines, but for tracks especially, you'll get a sense of whether you think you'll enjoy it at least. I'd love to hear from you guys on this. Have you found yourself with loads of iRacing content you never use? Am I wrong to no longer pay attention to completing full season schedules? And if you want to see exactly how high my spending on iRacing in just under a year is, well, click the link on the screen now. But be warned, it's a big number.